message.
So I have a vaccine-injured son. He is now 6 years old. When he was born, I was on the verge of trying to decide and, seek my pediatrician's advice. And of course she said, you've got to protect your kids. You've got to give them their vaccines. Well, we were living in New York City at the time, and the pediatrician said, you have to have your vaccines all at one time, following the CDC schedule. And I said, no, I think I want to space them out. And she was like, absolutely not. If you space them out, I'm going to ask you to leave my office right now. And as a mom, on the spot, I was like, oh, what do I do? And I really didn't have time to think about it. And I said, okay, we'll do it. Anyway, he was okay until he really got the MMR. And we had traveled to South Africa, so he had missed a vaccine. So he got the MMR, the varicella. He also got a flu shot at the same time. He went, by the time we left, within an hour, his body was lifeless. He had an extremely high fever. I called the pediatrician. They said to me, you know what, just keep alternating Tylenol and Motrin. At that point, I didn't know that Tylenol depleted glutathione and it couldn't detoxify. So I did that. I alternated. Nothing worked. Overnight, he was extremely high. We were putting cold compresses on his forehead, wet socks on his feet. Still, nothing changed with his temperature. He just lay on the bed, lifeless. And before that, he was a verbal, bubbly child. He excelled in everything. He knew flashcards. He could make animal sounds. He could point to everything. Anyway, that night we ended up going down to the hospital, and they said really there was nothing they could do for it. It was a fever, and to continue medicating. And you could actually even
with
the Tylenol, alternating Tylenol, Motrin, but even making the space between it even not so far apart. You could even speed it up and give it more frequently. This went on for probably 3 or 4 days. I went back to the pediatrician. I'm like, this child's fever's not going down, nothing's changing. And she said, well, maybe there's a virus going on. Maybe there's something attacking his body. Let's give him an antibiotic, because that's going to help, right?
This is just like the same story of all of our kids.
Really?
With the Tylenol, the antibiotics. Anyway, do carry on.
So we give him an antibiotic, and eventually after a week, the fever breaks, and within a couple of weeks we started to notice him distant, started to not make eye contact, started to sit on his own and play on his own. And I was like, oh, this is great, a perfect child. He's playing on his own, he's entertaining himself, whereas before he wanted interaction all the time.
You don't have any other children?
I have 3 other children, 2 that are not vaccinated.
So he's
the eldest.
Right, so at the time you didn't have any other children?
At the time I had no other children. So, but I'm a school teacher. I've worked with many children. I'd nannied for years as well. So slowly we started to notice a regression. My husband, like most husbands, are in denial. And at 2 years old, I got him evaluated, and he was diagnosed with PDD-NOS.
When you say your husband's in denial, let's talk about that, because everybody, again, has the same story.
You think he's going to be fine. He's going to come out of it. He's just going through a stage. The pediatrician as well said, this is appropriate. Kids go in and out of stages. He's just going through a quiet stage, or he's exerting his behavior, he's exerting his feelings. When he started to go out of it, he started to get frustrated because he had lost his words. He couldn't make eye contact. He would bang his head against the wall when he would get frustrated, to a point where he had eggs on his head. It became impossible to function daily with him. To go
he's
to the
a boy, someone said. There's another one again. Oh, he's a boy.
Yeah. So we would go to the grocery store, and literally, I can't tell you how many times I was like, I am so embarrassed. I can't deal with this right now. Everyone's staring at me. People are telling me, even when we flew, people are telling me, you're a bad mom, control your kid. He would just start shaking in the seat and want to get out, or he wanted a toy, or whatever it is he wanted. He had to have that, and I felt I ended up giving him whatever he wanted just to keep him peaceful, so I could get the grocery shopping done. So anyway, we got him diagnosed, and we've had a ton of therapy, but we've also done the whole biomedical treatment. And Aiden is now very high functioning. So it goes to show he's not. I asked my husband to bring him down, but
we want to meet him.
We have autism bowling today, so maybe I'll call him and have him come down later. I will call him. He is high functioning. He is social. He is overly social. He's in your face. He tells you he loves you. We have done everything from B12 shots, vitamin supplementation, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. We've invested everything. We're now broke. And on Wednesday, we got great news from Duke University. We banked his stem cells when he was born, and now that he's 6 years old, he qualifies to get stem cell transfusion. So we're hoping that will unlock him and get him totally out of it. I mean, he still has issues, he still has meltdowns, but...
You bring up an interesting point about how we're all broke. I mean, I regard myself as fortunate, as I'm sure you do, that we had the ability to be able to get credit cards out and max them up to pay for therapy, to have relatives that we can fleece for every single thing. There are parents, and we're meeting them, that have absolutely no way of getting any money to get any treatment at all for their child. The best they can do is put them in front of a computer and keep feeding them whatever they need to get through the day.
And
that's
I
what
can't
breaks
even
my heart.
imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I mean, we are so blessed that we've had the resources to give him what he needs and to get him to where he is. Because as a parent, when you're going through that, and as you know, you feel hopeless.
Right.
You've got this child trapped in this body, and you're like, what do I do? And how do I get through this day?
And that's my baby in there, and I need to get him back out again. You know, that mother's passion over my dead body is, are we going to allow this to set in?
Yeah, and you know, people think I'm crazy now. I'm the ultra holistic, all natural, organic, non-GMO, no
Wonderful.
chemicals.
Are you kidding? We think you're wonderful.
I make all my own cleaning products, my own sunblock, my own bug spray, and my friends laugh at me, and I'm like, you know what? Here's the product. Here's the result. And you know what? It just goes to show that it is vaccine injury, because if he can recover, there is no ways that it's genetic, like they try to label it. It's impossible. And I know, I saw it. I witnessed it firsthand. So
that's again another interesting, because you witnessed it firsthand. I witnessed my son's injury firsthand, as did thousands, if not millions worldwide.
Oh, absolutely.
Parents, hence what we're doing with the bus and everything else. So to the people that constantly say to us parents, and I know my answer, but I just want to hear yours. I put it to you that you're looking to blame your son's injury on something. That's what we get told. What is your answer to that? Try and stay calm.
we're looking to blame something?
Yeah. So we're blaming the
So
vaccines.
we're blaming the vaccines?
We need to blame
That's just ridiculous. And unfortunately, I probably was one of those mothers prior to my child vaccinated and that damaged. So I had to learn the hard way. And my child's vaccine injured. I'm not here for my child. I'm here for your child. I want to see your child get through this. And we have a huge epidemic in this country. And we can blame all sorts of things. But if you experience it firsthand and witness it and live it, there is no doubt in my mind that these vaccines, and you look at the CDC schedule from when I was a kid where I got maybe 6 or 8 shots to what kids are getting nowadays, and you actually read the ingredients, it's self-explanatory. Do your homework, do your research, get the inserts, read what's in there. Otherwise, we're going to have a country full of injured children. What is the ratio?
Adults.
What is the and adults, elderly too. What is the ratio? It's 1 in 40 something, and the CDC schedule's behind.
That's autism. We're not even addressing vaccine injury. By the way, dump that word autism. Our children do not have autism, they're vaccine injured.
Yeah,
we are not going to play their game of going under separate little camps. We're joining with the other vaccine injured people who are Gardasil injured and all those others that don't have autism and have paralysis and everything else. We are one big tribe now.
I mean, allergies, everything. Everything is vaccine related.
They can separate us, we?
Exactly.
Yes.
They can't
And I'm going to
separate
call
us,
my husband. You got to meet Aiden.
Yes, go get him.
I am going to.
Are you going to? Is he going to write the name on the bus or you?
I've already written it.
What number is he?
2816.
Come show me.
Yeah, let's go.